And then I met him. We did a fruitful engagement in Melbourne, and I found him to be extremely cordial, supportive, and more so very business-like in his relations. He wants results next week, if not tomorrow. So I think we did discuss a number of issues. First, of course, enhancing the bilateral relations from strategic towards comprehensive strategic partnership, which we are exploring both with Malaysia and ASEAN. And then students exchange, we have benefited from these exchanges in the past. There are New Zealand students in Malaysia, but also increasing number. And we have asked him to facilitate the possibility of getting more students to New Zealand, particularly the postgraduate, in new areas where they have extremely cordial, supportive, more students to New Zealand. Transition and, of course, food technology. And then we both agreed in this bilateral session that we had to enhance collaboration in trade, investments, in research, in particularly all areas, including halal industry. And it is, we did acknowledge the fact that it is quite unfortunate that with so much potential and such a great relationship that we have had for decades, if not for nearly a century, we're not able to take measures to enhance this sort of collaboration. So I therefore will start having a cabinet meeting tomorrow, and to use his advice and experience, things have to be done fast, and we will certainly take it up. And may I again thank you very much, Prime Minister Lukson, for this visit, and we are fortunate to have you and your delegation, and we look forward to a stronger bond and friendship, both between Malaysia and New Zealand, and also at the personal level.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Selamat pagi. Kia ora. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Prime Minister Anwar, can I just say again, thank you very much for the very warm welcome that we've had here to Malaysia. I'm excited to be back in Malaysia. It's a country of extraordinary vibrancy and also incredible energy, and so it's fantastic to be here. We saw that on the weekend just past with the celebration of your Independence Day on Saturday. It looked like you had quite a celebration, as I said to you, by all my newspapers that I flicked through last night. And I want to say congratulations to all of you on the 67th anniversary of your independence. New Zealand has been at Malaysia's side since before independence, as the Prime Minister said. We were here in the Malaya emergency, and we were here again in the Borneo confrontation, and we've been here with you ever since. And I have to say, you have been with us too. Your support meant a tremendous amount to New Zealand and to New Zealanders as we had to deal in 2019 with the aftermath and reeling from the worst terrorist attack on New Zealand's soil through the Christchurch mosque attacks. And I've thanked Prime Minister Anwar today for that support, but I've also thanked him for the way that he will support us next year in your year chairing ASEAN to mark the 50th anniversary of New Zealand's partnership with ASEAN as well. Malaysia is one of our oldest friends in Asia. We have a warm and a deep relationship, but I wanted to come here in my first year in office because there is room for us to do so much more together, much more. And with our overall strategic partnership, Prime Minister Anwar and I have today agreed to inject more momentum into our collaboration. And we're expanding our defence cooperation, including by deploying one of our New Zealand Air Force new P-8 Poseidons to Butterworth to exercise together. We've agreed new cooperation and enhanced efforts on transnational crime, counter-terrorism and countering violent extremism. We've agreed to expand our trade by increasing the value of our two-way trade by 50% by 2030 and tackling the non-tariff barriers that exist between our two countries and impede the flow, particularly of our primary products both ways. We're working on e-certification and new customs cooperation to smooth flows at the border, and we've talked a lot more about what we can do to strengthen our education links and our youth exchanges so that the next generation of Kiwis and Malaysians have that same close relationship that we enjoy today. Prime Minister, I do want to acknowledge Malaysia's incredible growth story. It's an extraordinary story that your government is committed to advancing. There's much that New Zealand can learn from you, and your exceptional success attracting foreign investment is something that I look forward to and have enjoyed discussing with you today as well. That's also why we have the leaders of 17 of New Zealand's biggest businesses that have joined me on this delegation over the next 2 days. They want to support Malaysia and its success, and our two countries partner together for a better future so that we can raise prosperity for both of our peoples and both of our great countries. Our companies here are also to explore opportunities, market opportunities in this market, and Malaysia has long been a top 10 export market for New Zealand, and we feel lucky that you like our nutritious and safe products, which, as I said to the Prime Minister, are infinitely better than the Australian products. But we then decided not to have a diplomatic incident and moved on very quickly. But we've got a diverse range of businesses here today in Malaysia, and we think we can offer you so much more in sectors like tourism and education, where we want to build even greater links between our people, which give us those people-to-people bonds are so important. So, Prime Minister, what can I just say again, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for your personal leadership. Thank you for the friendship. And I look forward to it continuing to deepen and strengthen at a country-to-country level, but also between us at a personal level as well. So again, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. No questions? Thank you very much.
Do we have the first question? Yes.
Good morning.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe if I can ask one question each for both of you for reference. How do you see Prime Minister Lakson visit to Malaysia to further strengthen bilateral between Malaysia and New Zealand? And for Prime Minister Lakson, how can both countries strengthen tourism ties and encourage more people-to-people exchanges post-pandemic?
Right. I mean, the fact that the new Prime Minister of New Zealand chooses to visit us in his first year in office shows his personal commitment and the New Zealand's commitment to attempt to enhance relations. And we discussed this is a comprehensive arrangement in the sense that goes just beyond diplomatic engagement to get us to understand some issues particularly affecting the region. I mean, the South China Sea was raised, an issue of Russian invasion of Ukraine, and our position vis-à-vis the atrocities committed in Gaza. I mean, so there's an opportunity to engage and understand. But more important in terms of both bilateral relations is the issue of trade, potential investments, tourism, education. And I think the fact that the Prime Minister himself is here and shows that sort of strong commitment would certainly augur well for both countries in terms of enhancing these collaborative efforts and trade and investments.
Yeah, and it's a real honour to be here. I'm the first New Zealand Prime Minister to be here since 2015, and the reason is because I love Malaysia. It's a fantastic country. It's got so much potential, and we are so close because we've got these historical ties that go way back over many, many decades. But the Prime Minister and I both want to make sure that the relationship is set up so in the subsequent decades, young Malaysians and young Kiwis are actually building connections with each other so that the relationship in 10 and 20 and 30 years' time is in good heart as well. I agree with you. I think tourism and education are really the ways in which we build those initial people-to-people connections. When you go visit a country or when you go study in a country, and we've had many New Zealanders studying in Malaysia, and we've had many Malaysians study in New Zealand over the decades, you get an understanding of each other and your societies and the cultures that are different, but the values that are often very much the same. And that's the opportunity for us to then build out from those people-to-people connections flows of trade and capital and investment. But none of that comes if you don't have those people-to-people connections at the foundation. So, look, there's a lot more that we can be doing on tourism. We talked a lot about what we could do on education. Obviously, you'd be well aware of, the Colombo plan, which was so instrumental, and we had so many great, Malaysians come to New Zealand and study and then come back and build the country. And, I think we've got to think about how we continue to invest in both those education and tourism going forward. Thank you.
Okay, we have the second question.
From television. You mentioned the atrocities